This one's for Riley. Excellent jailbreak goal. How about that pass, though, that you got from Rattray? That was a little bit of deception, I guess. How did you feel about penalty killing your fellow penalty killers?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because, all of us on the bench were screaming 3, right? And Jill thought there was only 3 seconds left. And she honestly wound up to take a slap shot. And I think all of us on the ice, even on the bench, were screaming, no, we have 10 seconds. We're good. So honestly, I was like, all right, I'm up in the play. I'm just going to keep going and, happy to bury one for us.
Excellent. And this is for Stefanie. There's, being at the top of the standings, there's been some discussion about, how much of this is, unsustainable shooting percentage or just being on the strength of your goaltending. But tonight, I think, sort of ran counter to some of those narratives. How do you feel about those storylines and where the team is now?
Yeah, I don't think that we're focused on any of the storylines. I think for us it's every day showing up with the habits and details that we believe in and bringing it from puck drop to the last buzzer goes. What was the first part of your question, sorry?
Oh, just whether it was there's been a narrative that there's been unsustainable shooting percentage and save percentage, and that's been really what's driving things. I've noticed personally that your goals, the goals that you're scoring are not lucky goals. They're effort goals. They're skill goals. They're not odd bounce goals. But there has been some talk about just the numbers and how they relate to your place in the standings.
Right. I think tonight we had 3D score. Abbey stepped in and had a heck of a game, and I think from a 5-on-6 perspective, we really wish we could have done a better job for her there to get that back door. But because she played a heck of a hockey game, and I think from the top line down to the 7th D, it took every single one of us, and we brought it.
Yeah, Sylvia Leha with the Ice Garden for Riley and Abbey. What do you think is, the secret sauce that keeps you in the game mentally when in times like this?
I think personally it's just belief. We're very, very, very tight-knit group, and I think it's just a belief in one another and the composure on the bench. There's been games we've been down, and it's how do we bounce back for that and how do we stay together.
Yeah, I think we have a great group in that locker room and coaching staff as well. Sparzy's pump-up speeches every time get me, so he's pretty good at them.
Heather Munko with the Hockey News. For Riley or Abbey or both of you, you had such a great record and then you fall, you lose one game. Is there more pressure or push or drive or fire to win the next game after you lose one?
Yeah, definitely, right? No one likes to lose. So I was just really proud of the group in there and the way we bounced back. We all stood together. Almost had a shutout for Abbey there, but she stood on her head for us. So it was just, finding the back of the net and how do we bounce back from a quick game a couple days ago. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's hockey. You're going to win, you're going to lose, but we have a great group, so you can't be upset. We came back, so.
Abbey, from what I understand, you played 4 periods of hockey last season, and this was your first start this season. And I was wondering, what do you do and how hard is it mentally to keep yourself focused so that when your name is called, you're ready?
Yeah, it's probably the hardest position to be in a team is that bubble player. You don't know if you're going to get in there. But coming from last season, I just trained hard. I practiced hard. I knew I was going to get a chance again, but coming to Boston was the best decision I've ever made. I felt the love from the players, from the staff, and I cannot complain. They gave me an opportunity, and I'm going to take advantage of them now.
Hi, Patty Rakosi, Gloves Off Seattle. First trip to the West Coast. I know that puts a totally different spin on it from how it's been the last 2 years, the last 2 seasons. How was your first trip to the West, minus the 3 points?
The coffee here is phenomenal. The monorail, I think it was. Oh my gosh, that was killer this morning.
it's been great. You know, we can't complain. Obviously, it was a quick, 3 games in 5 days. So it's how do we, kind of stick together, do the things off the ice as well. So it's been a great trip and very successful as well.
Yeah, I'll just add, I think from the moment that we came in the doors at Climate Pledge, it's run so professionally, and all of our staff just keep speaking about how polite and courteous and welcoming everybody is here. So that's been a real treat, and some good restaurants. We went and checked things out in the market last night, so it's good.
Anyone else?
And there's some former Fleet players on the Torrent. What's it like turning around and facing against them, or have you had a chance to meet with them or talk with them?
Yeah, I think it's one of the beautiful things about our sport. Obviously, it was sad to see people go and make some really hard decisions, because you just really get to care about people when you're on a team, and build relationships over the course of 2 years, and then they're kind of, they have to go somewhere else. So there were definitely some sweaty hugs given in the hallway, seeing some other players. I'll share a little anecdote. So my niece, who's now 10, she's a huge Emily Brown fan. And she wore number 2 because Emily Brown wore number 2. And then the expansion draft happens. And with the last pick, Seattle takes Brownie. And I had a message from my sister-in-law and my brother, and they're both like, Grace is bawling. Like, she was so upset because Brownie had been taken. And she's like, I hate Seattle. And then come to find out, Brownie's now wearing number 11. And my niece, without knowing that, wore number 11 because her brain, her 10-year-old brain said, well, 1 + 1 = 2. And then I texted Brownie that, and Brownie said, well, that's funny because that was my rationale as well. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously, like, an important game for our players as well. Like, you're playing your former captain and a pioneer in the game like Hillary, and so I think it was an important game today.
Hi, Laura Harrington, Come As You Are Hockey. Mainly for Abbey, but for everyone. How was the fan experience? Like, did it affect you, get in your head? Was it any different than any other game you've experienced?
I think we're pretty trained not to listen to the outside noise. So yes, the fans were absolutely loud, roaring, annoying a bit, but I mean, I'm pretty focused on the ice, but they were pretty amazing to see for the women's game. That Seattle is definitely a spot for women's hockey.
Thank you.